Now, for hundreds of people in Cheshire, the prospect that their house will be bulldozed to make way for high-speed trains is something that they have known about for the last 3 years.
But last November, the HS2 route was changed and some households in the county found out that they were in the way. Officials have been in Cheshire today to answer questions. Here's our Cheshire political reporter, Phil McCann.
The bread has been rolling off the tracks at Robert's Bakery for more than 130 years. It's not exactly high speed, but the factory's new neighbour will be. The HS2 line will cross this main road near the Northwich site and go through the car park of this distribution centre. The proposed line through that edge of Northwich and this countryside just south of it was shifted to here last November when the route was altered. It means that people living in this area who thought they wouldn't be affected have had just a few months to digest the fact that their corner of Cheshire is now in the way. People like Gary. He and his neighbours in Billings Green found out late last year that they would be right next to the track.
It was quite hard really because I mean, I've lived here for 15 years. It's the house I hoped I'd stay here for a long time, and now it's not looking like we'll be able to. It's going to be a lot of uncertainty for a number of years, I think.
But today was a chance for Gary to get out and find out more. He was invited to this official consultation event where questions would hopefully be answered.
It's just confirmed some of the things I already knew, I think, really. There's still a lot of unanswered questions, and it's going to be so. Part of the problem is there's so much uncertainty, and it's going to go on for years.
But with so many people newly affected, there were lots of questions.
Well, of course, I sympathise with people who are affected by the proposals. What we've tried to do in developing the proposals is balance the considerations of obviously we need to have a safe railway, but balance that against environmental impacts. We believe that the route that we've now got represents the best balance.
Head just south of here to Crewe, though, and there's some excitement because the railway town will be the only HS2 stop between the Midlands and Manchester. From where the trains will thunder past the bakery at up to 250 miles an hour. Phil McCann, BBC North West Tonight, Cheshire.
Let's talk more about HS2 with our political editor, Nina Warhurst, who is here. You've seen a letter today to the Transport Secretary from a group of influential MPs about the funding for the project.
Yeah, that's right. This is a letter, Roger, from the chairman of the Treasury Select Committee. Who is he? He's the man in charge with scrutinising how the government spends our money. It's a letter to the Transport Secretary, the man in charge of HS2, and it asks for the second time for justification for the forecast of passenger numbers on who's going to travel on HS2. He says he doesn't think that the evidence that's been given about how many people will travel on the service isn't there, and without those numbers, it's scarcely worth the candle, the phrase meaning that the end in no way justifies the means unless they can prove those numbers. So the Transport Secretary says for every pound spent on HS2, we will get a £2 return, but he's going to have to work really hard now to convince the Treasury Select Committee that it's worth the £55 billion investment.